Hi, everybody. It is time for our weekly Q&A. I thought I would continue to talk about alkalinity. I can't even talk right today, and maybe more alkaline foods. So last week we talked about the alkaline diet and why it's important, what acids do to the body, how they're important. We do need acids. Proteins are amino acids. We do have to eat acids. And so we talked about that. So I thought this week I would talk a little bit more about the foods that we eat for an alkaline diet. So when I look at different charts, there's a little bit of controversy, but most of them do include leafy greens, most of our fruits, and most of our herbs and seeds. Some of them do have beans as alkaline, and some of them have beans as acid forming. Almost all of them have quail eggs as alkaline, but other eggs are acidic. Like I said, they have protein in them, which is amino acids, so they should have some, should be a little bit acidic. The same with fats. They're called fatty acids. They are acids, but we need them. So we do need acids, but we do need some more alkaline foods to help counteract those acids. And so I was looking at a chart here. Let's see if I can bring it up. When I look at the different foods, it's very important to include different herbs and spices. So here in the US, we don't use that many herbs and spices. So it's finding different things that we can add to our foods. So if we're cooking something that is, we want a Mexican flair, then we want to include things like maybe cumin or chili powder. But then when we think about that, wait a minute, those spices come from nightshades, and the nightshades are usually in the acidic category. So I guess we first need to figure out, are nightshades an issue for you or not? So if they're not, then maybe don't use them as much as some of the other herbs and spices. So what else is in Mexican flavored foods? So we usually have a garlic. We usually have onions. So let me see where they fall. I would think garlic and onions would both be on the alkaline. Yeah, garlic is, yes. So those are on the alkaline side. So garlic and onions, which we pretty much include in all of our dishes, right? Oregano, and oregano is good for so many different things. It's an antimicrobial, antibacterial. And so anytime you can add oregano to different dishes, that is fabulous. Italian, Mexican, we see those a lot. Other spices that we use that would be good, like if you're cooking something that's more Asian, then we have ginger, which is very anti-inflammatory as well. Turmeric, very anti-inflammatory. So those are great too. So when I look at, there are a few fruits that are on the acidic side. So we think of lemons, and lemon is one of those that is very controversial. Lemon has citric acid, which is an acid, which we put in the acid category. But there are several studies that contradict each other. That the saliva, your enzymes in your saliva help to balance out those acids. And so is it acidic or is it alkaline? Because when you taste it, it's acidic, but then as you digest it, it becomes more alkaline. But tomatoes and plums are both considered acidic. So even though they do taste acidic, apparently they still act acidic. Tomatoes are also a nightshade. So if a nightshade is an issue for you, then eliminate it. Now I love prunes and plums, and they are in season right now. And so I'm not going to avoid them. I do think that it is good to have a good balance, just like we need our fats, we need our proteins. We just don't want to eat too many of them. So we have to have, there are essential fatty acids. There are certain fats that we do need to include in our diet every day. And those we can get from some nuts and seeds, and some fish oil, cold water fishes, and algae. And so they do contain acid. We need to balance them out, but they are also essential, meaning we do have to have them from our diet. And they're also anti-inflammatory. And so we want to definitely make sure that we are including those foods. So flax seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, those are all great. Now your seeds are alkaline, but the walnuts are not. And so the more seeds you eat, the better when it comes to that. But you want to make sure you get those in. Proteins. So we have to have proteins. They provide structure to our tissues and our muscles, to all different types of things. They also help to carry hormones and things like that. They are transporters as well. They bind to things, especially like in our bloodstream. Our bloodstream is mostly water. And you know how fats don't combine with water. We need the protein to bind and carry the fats through the blood. So we need to make sure that we're getting proteins too. And there are some proteins that are essential. And we do have to make sure we're eating protein, but we don't want to eat too much protein. If we have too much, then we create too much of an acidic environment. And as I mentioned last week, when we cook proteins, when we heat them, we change their structure, we make it more difficult to break down those proteins, which creates a little more acid when we are digesting and metabolizing our foods, which anytime, it doesn't matter what we're eating, that digestive process is going to be creating some acid. When we eat cooked foods on top of that, we're adding a little bit more acid. And then if we're eating cooked animal proteins, they coagulate a little bit more. And so it's a little bit more difficult to digest. So it's creating a little bit more acid too. So you don't want to eat too many. A lot of us do eat, I don't, but a lot of us do eat meat 3 times a day. So you start with bacon or sausage or something for breakfast, maybe an egg, maybe cheese, so dairy. And so those things are going to be kind of hard to break down. Then if you go to lunch and you have meat on a sandwich, maybe a hamburger, pepperoni on a pizza, any of those things, those are going to add more acid. And then for dinner, another meat, that's 3 times a day. We don't need that many animal products, which is difficult for a lot of people. Right now, the keto diet is so popular. Paleo diet is so popular, especially in the autoimmune realm. A lot of people are eating a lot of meat. And so that is going to create a lot of acid. If you're already inflamed, you want to watch that. You don't want to keep adding more and more acid. You need to balance that out. So you want to make sure you're including lots and lots of alkaline rich foods like leafy greens. In my Create program, I tell everyone you need to eat greens 3 times a day. Try to find a way to put greens in your breakfast. So that could be spinach if you want eggs for breakfast, I don't recommend it. You could have a tofu scramble or a chickpea scramble or something, throw in some greens. If you have scrambled eggs, throw in some greens, make an omelet with some greens. You can make a vegan omelet with some greens. I may have one on my YouTube channel. Then for lunch, have a large salad. Everyone needs to eat a large salad at least once a day. We all need some raw greens, not just cooked greens, but raw greens. Now, if you have been very ill for a long time, maybe you have something going on in the gastrointestinal tract and some greens are hard on you, then some steamed greens are fine while you're healing. Once you heal, you want those live enzymes. So you do want to eat the live greens when you can. And then for dinner, find a way to throw in some greens in a soup or a stew or a saute or have a side salad with your dinner. That way you're getting these alkaline rich greens throughout your day to help counteract any of the acids that form. And fruit. So many people are afraid of fruit. Fruit does have sugar in them, but that fruit does come bound with tons of vitamins and minerals, nutrients that we haven't even learned about yet, and live enzymes. We usually don't cook our fruit. And so it's very important to include fruit. Maybe don't eat them alone, especially if you have blood sugar issues. Eat your greens and then eat your fruit, and that will help balance out your sugars. So if you have trouble with that, then contact me and I'll help you find ways to start including some of these foods. Sea vegetables, they're not very popular here in the States, but if you can find ways to make nori rolls or a nori wrap for lunch, any way you can start to include more sea vegetables, not only are they very alkaline rich, they are very high in minerals. I mean, minerals for all of our different processes. And so it's very important to get those in if you can. So why are all these important? Why do I care about this? A lot of times degenerative diseases are a sign that we are a little acidic and we need to find ways to repair this. And they can be prevented. And if we look at kidney disease, bone loss, osteoporosis, heart disease, muscle wasting. I have people who tell me I can't eat enough protein. I feel like I'm losing muscle. It may be you're eating too many acidic foods. Problems with balancing neurotransmitters, maybe brain fog or depression. That could be a sign of too many acidic foods. Thyroid conditions, adrenal conditions, fertility problems, poor growth and development, pain and inflammation, or increased aging. All of those are related to eating acidic foods. And so there are ways that we can keep them in balance. Like I just mentioned, eating a lot of the greens, adding more fruits, and eating those omega-3 rich fatty acids that we find in flax seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, sea vegetables, algae. Purslane. So purslane is not very popular. You can actually grow that at your house. Purslane is very high in omega-3s, and it's not a nut or a seed. So for those of you who have trouble eating those, purslane may be a better option for you. So if we do have too many acidic foods, then it can weaken our bones. As I said, osteoporosis. It can injure the stomach lining, which makes it more difficult for us to absorb our nutrients. It can affect our digestive enzymes. If it's injuring the stomach, then it's affecting the digestive enzymes. So then we really aren't digesting those proteins that we need, which is just going to create, you can see this secular problem, secular, is cycles. Anyway, I don't know if that was the right word, and create bloating and gas. So sometimes bloating and gas can be a sign that we're eating an acidic diet. So our lungs and our kidneys are constantly working to help us balance out our pH. So if we already have some sort of kidney issue, diabetes or pre-diabetes, we're starting to create some kidney problems, then that's not going to help us clear out the acids either. And so other signs to look for are headaches, muscle cramping, confusion, and fatigue. And so those are just some things to, if you have those signs, then maybe boost more of your alkaline rich foods to help balance that out. So there is a doctor that I like to follow, Dr. Susan Brown. I think she's awesome, but she talks a lot about the acidic diet. She does have a YouTube channel, and she has a website, betterbones.com. I do like that, and it has a lot more information. I actually just bought her book. I've been reading it, the Acid Alkaline Food Guide. It actually isn't just guides. And she has this pH tester. And so I just wanted to show you really quick how you can test your own pH. And so it will tell you in here what you want your range to be. And it says 5.5 to 8. I actually think it should be a little bit tighter than that. But it's this little strip here, and you just tear off a piece. And you can put it in your mouth. Uh-oh, I don't want to eat it. Put it in your mouth. My mouth is dry from talking. And then you can put it against this pH chart to see what your saliva is, but you can also test your urine and see where that is too. And so that's beyond what I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to show you how you could do it. These are pretty cheap. You can get these at on Amazon too. I know some of you don't like Amazon, which is fine. And then I wanted to talk about a couple more things you need to consider are coffee. Coffee is high in caffeic acid. And so if you're drinking more than a cup of coffee, then you're probably adding more acid to your day. And that goes with caffeine. Caffeine also, she says that your intake, for most individuals, let me see what she has. If you have 300 milligrams of caffeine, that is way too much. That throws you into an acidic, and that's 2 cups of coffee. So you want to make sure you drink less than 2 cups of coffee. For fat and protein, for most individuals, 50 to 60 grams is appropriate. And so you don't want to, a lot of people are trying to get more and more protein from animals. And so remember, the animal protein is going to be difficult to break down. Plant protein, your greens, like I said, greens 3 times a day, your greens are very high in protein. And if you are concerned about that, one of my favorite tools is Chronometer. I don't have my phone on me. So you can get the Chronometer app. It's free. You can upgrade and pay $8.99 a month to get more information. But you can actually put in your foods, and it will show you how much fat you're getting. Are you getting all of your amino acids? So when I tell people about this, I tell them, don't look at the calories. You need to look at the nutrients, because if you start looking at the calories, you're going to just start cutting back on what you're eating. And then when we do finally look at it, you're going to see, wait a minute, I haven't been getting my amino acids. I haven't been getting all of my minerals and vitamins. But that app is awesome. It shows you all the vitamins, all the minerals, and all the protein. Is it perfect? No, but it is a good guideline. And so I love that app. Salt. So you want to make sure that you're not eating too much salt, because salt can injure the kidneys. You do need some salt, especially to help with electrolytes and things like that. The Chronometer app can also help you track that. So even if you're not adding salt, you're getting salts throughout the day, especially if you're eating processed foods. Now, one thing about the app is it does have a scan. You can scan products too and see, and it'll automatically put all the nutrients in there for you. And so I love that as well. And tobacco. Tobacco is very acidic. And so if you can avoid tobacco, that would be great. Anyway, I hope this helps. I'm also going to be writing a little bit more about acids this week. Let me check and make sure that there aren't any questions. A couple of different things, but it doesn't look like any of them are on this topic. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful week. If you come up with some questions, if you listen to this later on and something pops into your head, then please post. I'd love to hear from you and give me a topic to talk about for next week. I want it to be something that suits you. Have a good week.